1 second. All right, we live. So,
What's going on?
hold on 1 second. Everybody get ready, like, do what you do.
Yeah.
But let me introduce everybody. Ivan. Okay, so have you been paying attention to, like, the Sacramento? Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna take this earpiece off.
All right. Y'all hear me better? All right. So first off, Ivan, this is Hittahrich, right? You ever seen a video with the Sacramento Street Wars?
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm gonna check it out now. So,
It's been going crazy. He got a 1,000 subscribers in 4 days.
shout out here.
And then his videos is doing like 5,000 overnight. And then Rich, this is Ivan. Ivan, he a member of the Dirty Nation. Dirty Nation is basically subscribers and followers of mine that have been with me along my journey for many years. And then right there, you got P&G News. He's from Chicago, and he's from Florida, but he got knowledge. What background is that?
What happened?
That's remember your headphones earlier? They was doing that sound.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
All right,
So
I'll take
basically,
these on.
like what I was explaining to you is that the world right now is paying attention to Sacramento music right now, but it seems like they paying attention to for all the wrong reasons. Like they paying attention for the negativity. So what I want you to do is like Ivan, music questions and things like that. Right now we got the hottest YouTuber in Sacramento right now on his live. So any Sacramento related questions, you can
Yeah.
shoot them at him, you can shoot them at me. And we're gonna not only is this live about us, this forum about us, but it's about everybody else who's gonna watch afterwards too.
Yeah.
Because the way this is streaming right now to Facebook and the YouTube. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming down. I see it too.
So, so my question would be, with the Sacramento, where did it mesh off into? Because I heard Dirty talk about different points, like with the older generation. Where did the younger generation? Where did that disconnect start at with them?
Hey, let him. Because I'm gonna cut you off, Ivan. You got to introduce yourself though, Rich,
I'm
because
sorry.
because these is real live YouTubers and people with channels and stuff. So introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Hittahrich from North Sacramento, and yep, I just started a YouTube channel like a week ago, and it's just been going up, you know.
Like what
But
what
that's
motivated you?
just just seeing what was going on, like with the younger street culture and just the music, and like it's all it is. It's more music than it is about history about what's going on. And I look in certain comments and just see people like more confused, just like, damn, why is this? Why is that? I didn't know it was like that out there, or I didn't know who is this, who is that, and it just motivated me like that. Just to, I
Yeah.
just made one video, and I just left it alone, and then I came back like a day later or two, and it was up, and I was just like, damn, and I just went
Yeah.
off of that.
So I see you had success in other platforms.
Yeah, Facebook and things like that. I was doing like the little
Uh,
hood comedy shit.
hey Ivan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's my mic. Hold on 1 second. Audio default. Okay, we good. Hold on. All right, perfect, beautiful. All right, so how many subscribers do you got on Facebook?
Man, I got 5,000 friends in total, but like people following because you only got 5,000 friends total. But like
Right.
followers, probably 5,000. And
5,000.
yeah, and that's after like, and I didn't have multiple pages. Like it got to the point like motherfuckers start hating, they start blocking, getting my pages took down and all kind of shit. And I had to make more, and like rapidly I just grow the same just fan base all over again. And I just noticed like I just had it's something that that they was connected to me that that made sense to the people, I guess, and they was just fucking with my shit.
Yeah.
And people always told me to make a YouTube channel, but
Yeah, I'm coming out. Hey, 1 second. Hey, Ivan, can you take over real quick? I'll be back in about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right.
PNG, did you have anything?
Huh?
PNG, did you have anything you want to ask?
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask him. Okay, so Hittahrich, how would you describe the Sacramento sound? Like in Chicago, we get drill music. Like in Atlanta, they got that trap sound. Like, what's the signature mark of the Sacramento sound?
I would say just gangster music, cause that's all that's popular.
Okay.
That's just gangster rap. It's like history, like kind of repeating itself. Just getting back to the gangster music shit, like on the West Coast, cause it went through a wave like jerking, and then and then when Chicago blew up, motherfuckers they switched a lot of shit, so people kind of like start gravitating towards that, but now it's starting to like come back to like more West Coast, like especially I can speak for Northern California, like it's just getting back to that gangster rap shit.
Okay.
I have a piggyback question off that, if you don't mind me asking. When he asked about the Chicago thing, was that already in the culture out there in Sacramento with the kind of dissing dead people? Was that already going on before, or is that something you saw come back with the Chicago thing? Because I know in Chicago that's prevalent with
I'm big on I fuck with Chicago shit tough, but it wasn't like that at all. Like we never did. It was dead songs, but it never to that extent like of dissing dead people until Chicago.
Yeah. That's what I've seen to notice with everything is like that became once they kind of brought that out and they were able to gain momentum off that, everyone else has kind of followed that piggyback because people want transparency in the music. So if you're talking about street stuff, people want to know names and be able to identify because everyone has access to the internet. So if it's out there for people to go find, it validates your music in a sense.
Right. Yeah.
So
I guess
who are some of your favorite Chicago rappers that you mess with that you mess with heavy?
See, like I probably was like one of the first persons to like know about the Chicago shit, like damn near my whole hood. Cause the one day I was just online and I seen a group of dreadhead niggas and I'm like, oh, they look like Bay niggas. So let me click the video and then I'm like, what the fuck? Who is this? No, Chief Keef. I'm like, okay, this shit different. Like, I ain't even know niggas in Chicago had dreads and shit. I'm like, what the hell? Then I was just showing my niggas it, and they seen the little JoJo shit. And then after that, that shit just went up to a whole nother level. And then we just start, I ain't gonna lie, we start kind of making kind of songs like that. Like, damn, okay, like, cause it was just big. It was just something different. And motherfucker just like was trying to give it a try and shit. Like that shit tight. But
what was the first drill song you heard?
300.
Was it? I mean Sacramento music.
Oh, Sacramento. It wasn't even the truth. It was like I heard it's songs that really wasn't even out there like that. But like June was starting to make the little slower tempo kind of beats, like the Young Chop kind of sound.
Yeah.
At a time he was doing that, and like really was that.
So when did you know it was serious though?
Like as far as like the sound, like coming towards like we guys gravitate to the sound. It was like I could say like up like because it can't like we started finding out about it like the end of 2012. So like within like December to like January, like February into the next year 13, it was just like niggas start making a lot of them songs in Sacramento.
And I came home in July, 4th of July, 2013. And the first song I heard was two. The, one of the homies pulled up was like, "Dirt, Bless, you gotta listen to this shit. This shit is unlike any song you ever heard."
Right.
And
Hey, let
man,
me ask you. You know how? Okay, I got a second question. You know how in Oakland they're like real independent with their rap, like you how they had E40 and Too Short putting out their own music. You know how in
Right.
Oakland everybody seemed to mess with everybody. Like you listen to one Oakland rapper, he had like 5 other Bay Area artists on his track. What's the rap scene like in Sacramento? Do y'all get down like that, or is like everybody for themselves?
Yeah. See, like like I can say this again because it'll get to what we're trying to say. But like the reason why we gravitated to like the Chicago shit is because like we didn't really have a sound. Like since Sebo and all them, like everybody and shit and everybody made their own music, how they rapped. But that it was just, we was just trying to still find ourselves and shit. And then like, but everybody in Sacramento, like that has a lot to do with it. Like, cause niggas started making diss songs and shit, so it wasn't enough room to like when it started blowing up, that niggas done already took it too far, and niggas couldn't just come together and shit.
so let me see. So how old are you?
I'm 27,
27. So you was born in what year?
1992.
92. So
Yeah.
92. Let me see. 92 music. I'm gonna tell you something. 92, you was born the first year some rappers from your neighborhood came out with a group.
Yep. And my
Strawberry
dad is one of them.
Manufacturing Family.
Yeah, my dad is one of them. The SMG tape.
I'm a
Yep.
G. Strawberry Manufacturing Family. Yep. So so in the 90s, do you remember much of the 90s?
Yeah. Like that's all I used to listen like, and then I remember a lot of the 90s. That's the Sebo era, like listening to Sebo and shit like that, and that SMG tape, and just
Which
listening.
Which Sebo? Because that was Sebo's era. It was the 90s. Like, do you like see? Let me so you know, Sebo's first album, Gas Chamber, dropped in '93,
Right.
and that the first time I heard it, it was actually a Crip nigga named Shepherd, who rest in peace now. But he the one that actually was like, "Dirt, you gotta listen to this." Actually, my name was just Kurt back then, but but that nigga was like, "You gotta listen to this." And I was going to take a whiff of the gas. I was like, "Oh, this shit hard." I didn't know that I was listening to a future legend.
Really,
So then,
anything I was listening to anything that was Sacramento and just anything like Bay Area, because at that time, like you was listening to the music that was just around. It wasn't like everybody was a rapper and shit.
hell, you right. You absolutely right. I listen to LA music, Bay music, Texas music, New York music. Because you right, we didn't have our own sound like that. But Sebo did label us though. He labeled Sacramento as a Crip City, and it was majority blood.
Right.
So let me ask you that: do y'all feel that like when a rapper is the first one to blow, that puts a kind of like that label on the city? Because like how you said the city's labeled as a Crip city, and it's like kind of misrepresented, like in terms of like numbers. I'm not saying in terms of like what goes on, but it's like, oh, we all Crips out here because we see the rapper that's most popular, so everyone assumes that that's kind of the you know.
Let me answer it, and then Rich can vouch for what I say.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the days when gangbanging was gangbanging, it was clear cut enemy. I'm a blood, you a Crip, and then over time, I got an echo with somebody echo. That's okay. Nah, Rich, that might be you. Let me see. Yeah, that's Rich. Can you hear me though? Still, Rich? Okay, cool. So at one time, it was only Bloods and Crips. You had some hoods that was mob, And then you had some hoods like Nogales that was smack dab in the blood hood. But for the majority, Sacramento was Bloods. So many that they got into it with each other, damn near in some cases more than they got into it with Crips, which is what you see today. So history definitely repeats itself. But the difference between now and then is that the Crips get along with Bloods now. Like the Crips get along with Bloods, and then the enemies have reshifted and changed to where just being a Blood is nothing. Everybody's a Blood. Oh shit! I done took him out, man. I hope he come back.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, like, you know, but I mean, I mean, I wonder where, like, you know, that comes from. Like, where did that come from in the generation of them being Bloods and Crips being that? Like, when did gangbanging shift from being Bloods and Crips are enemies to now that Bloods and Crips were cool and just this neighborhood might be our enemies? Like,
well, I did an interview with my dad, right? My dad grew up in the Heights too. So he told me when he was in high school, my dad almost 60 something, but when he was in high school, Del Paso Heights and Oak Park didn't get along. But I don't think they was killing each other. I think they was beating each other up. They wasn't killing each other. So I'm gonna tell you like an OG, like one of my cellies told me. He said that, and this is some real shit. He said, man, because he came from LA. He came from LA from Greenwich. So he said that when he got to Sacramento, they was breakdancing. Like they used to breakdance in the early 80s. They used to breakdance. Old Park, they had a group of dudes called the Funk Lords, right? Let me break the Funk Lords down to you. They were some dudes that used to walk around in karate suits, like the Kung Fu Bruce Leroy suits, and they used to be striking. Like to you guys, it might be pop locking or ticking or something like that. But in Oak Park, they call it striking. Striking is basically bam, like hitting, bam, 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 bam. That's shit. It's striking. That's what the folklores did. But the only thing was they was also gangsters too. And they ended up killing a white dude. I think they chopped his dick off and they set him on fire in the big park.
damn.
Yeah. And they arrested every last folklore, like all they ass up. Shout out Walter Anderson, Big Woo. But they all out now. I think except for one. Old Park Legend. So then what happened is the folklore, the pimps, the breakdancers, the houses, that era phased out. And then the influence from LA came to Sacramento. And it came to Oak Park. They came from Pomona. 456 Piru. They came from Pomona to Oak Park, 4th Avenue, Pebble Beach. And that's the first established like hood in Sacramento that as far as like Bloods and Crips. There was probably Crips before. There was Crips because they came from LA, but they wasn't organized to a certain spot until the college came from Pomona. It started that. So the original first in Oak Park, they was Piru. Like if you ever hear Oak Park, they gonna say they Blood. But the first ones was 456 Piru, Pebble Beach, 4th Avenue.
Nigel Collins.
Nigel Collins. That nigga know his shit. That's right. Talk that shit. So a lot of so then from there, gangbanging stayed untouched. Like it's in original form, the way it came from LA, with all the codes and everything, until Gulf County. But you had Cooney. There's a clique called Cooney. That was the first one that had Bloods and Crips, Cooneyville family. But as far as like cliques from people from everywhere, The first one I heard of was in 1994, and that was Dogtown. Dogtown was a culmination of people from Meadowview, Old Park, the Heights, 29th Street. It was everybody. So then Dogtown went to turn into Thugs. Do you remember hearing about them? Rich?
I heard of them, but I didn't get like enough information to
Okay.
really have
So
input.
so then like Dogtown was started by a dude with no park named Ham. It was Sebo's little brother, Alan, rest in peace. It was like some of the hierarchy. But that ended up mutating and became Thugs. Thugs turned into MOB. A clique of dudes called themselves MOB, right? But around that time, you had Hardheads, you had RA. I started a clique called a clique called Tamashanner clique, and then you had BAY. This is 1996. So you had BAY. BAY turned into is what you know as Stars. And that's where you come in.
Yeah.
So that's the history.
Yep. And they started as Stars in the South area, South in Sacramento, off of Franklin, which used to be called Franklin Villas, and all it had all kind of names until it turned into G Parkway, which was always a gated community.
You talking about G Parkway?
Yeah.
Nah, see, G Parkway was gated in your era. In my era, I remember when G Parkway didn't have no gates. I remember when they
Right.
was trying to build the gates, but we was causing security and shit so much havoc because we didn't agree with it that the gates that had built for hella long. I stayed in the G in 89, 90, 91. But yeah, so then what happened is in the early 2000s, remember when they put the Barksdale all in the newspaper?
Yeah.
When they put the Barksdales all in the newspaper and put a gang on G Parkway, they ran everybody up out that motherfucker and called themselves doing gentrification and trying to clean that motherfucker up. And they did in a sense because it looked different, but it's still the same people. But the roots of G Parkway is a lot of them dudes came from the base first. So what do you think about? Let's talk about stuff. See, I love talking about history. But so, what do you think about Sacramento like politics as far as like when you was young versus now? Like everybody want to think that there's a quick fix to the solution. Do you think there's an answer to the problems going on in Sacramento?
Yeah, I think it can be, because it's not like everybody really know each other. Like for real. Like people my age, like if we really could get together for real and like we could change it, because like we older and we the ones that's more established, having a little money and shit, and and it's just the little dudes out there just out there looking for, they really need the guidance because they just out there. They the ones getting hurt and shit happening.
Yeah.
They just out there. It ain't like me growing up and people was schooling me and telling me how I need to move and shit. It's less of that. But motherfuckers could really fix it, because it's not like a Chicago place. Like it's hella niggas. Like it's so many different groups and these type of niggas. Like it's Sacramento is small, like as far as like city limit and like where the gangs frequent. Like we could really come together and motherfuckers could really not even if it's not come together, like we can help each other and make money instead of just making it just be an all-out war. And it gotta start like with us, like people of my age and a little older, rappers and people really look up to and shit.
Yeah. So I know that like as an older homie, Hold on. Let me see who got that echo. Okay, that's you, Rich. All right. So as an older homie, like we used to be inside watching the news, like, damn man, this shit is crazy. Like we got locked up and we let everything go to shit. So we used to sit in there and talk about how we can make a difference. But the bottom line is how if you are hella far removed from the streets, how do you make a difference? Like if you hella far from the hold on. Oh shit, hold on. They choose to mute themselves. Okay, good looking. Y'all muted yourself. Good looking. All right. So the thing is, how do you reach back? Like, how does a 28-year-old reach a 13 or a 14 or a 15-year-old? How do they do that?
I would say from like my perspective, like the academic portion, I like answer that, and like you guys can get a different perspective. I would say like it starts with like interventions in the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the way that people consume stuff is through what they see. So like with the media and how they portray it, they control the narrative of that people don't get together. You know what I mean? That people don't respect things. What's glorified. So it has to be within the community, the things behind the scenes that are seen as like because like he was saying, people in the city know each other and it's small. You know, they know when something on the news isn't right, as opposed to, you know, what's really going on when it doesn't match up, like quicker than anyone else outside. But the phones and things in your hand,
Yeah.
that's the quickest way to access. So if you disconnected from something, that's the quickest way to be connected to what's going on. But I think but it also is like the value of the dollar to these kids. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like a lot of this stuff comes down to where people want to be rich, and that being rich conceives you being the man, and that goes into the popularity side of it as all. Because I say this, like on both sides, somebody's telling the truth and somebody may be lying. But at the end of the day, like, is the person that's real may not be the best rapper, and is he wrong for telling the truth on someone who isn't, as popular as they seem in the way they portray themselves? Like, because that draws that line of the narrative too.
That's it. Hey, I would say that's a touchy subject. That's a touchy subject because they throwing shots at each other. And I'm gonna just say that each shot, if you in the know, like if you know what's going on, like me, the shots that they throwing out at each other, I already knew. I was just waiting for stuff to come out. But now it's coming out. It's like they was holding back, but now it ain't no more. It's no whole bar.
It's like he said, like when they were talking about the dead people thing, there is no like limit of respect. Like the respect line is like moved. Because when it goes to like that person's dead, we're not touching that person. Like now, that person is free game. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happened to that person is free game. Like,
what do you think? What do you think about the hate that the youngsters got that they able to possess? Because I couldn't tap into that kind of hate as a kid. What do you think? Where do you think it comes from, Rich?
People around them, cause really, cause it's just more followers than leaders. Cause by yourself, when you're in that lonely cell and you by yourself, you don't hate everybody. Like you really, not even just that. Like when you by yourself and you in your bed by yourself and shit start hitting the fan and your homies start getting locked up, niggas dying and shit, you really realize that you don't hate people as much. Like damn, cause you ain't with a crowd.
Yeah.
You ain't with people that can like force your mind to think one thing because like these my homies, I love them, fuck them niggas. But when you really by yourself and shit start happening around you, start seeing like damn. But it's just what people see, what they going off what's going on right now. This can make me popular. I'm gonna talk shit and all that type of shit.
Yeah. So the thing is, they used. I remember when we used to listen to gangster rap when I was younger. I didn't really think nothing of it. It was just words and stuff, and just talking about how you'll do something to somebody different ways. But it wasn't no names involved. Like they didn't say this person did this or I'm coming to get this. When do you think the rules changed?
When like the internet, like people see I can have a voice, I can get a response, I can make you mad from over here and you way over there, and and we can go on live and motherfuckers and just talking shit in the comments and they hyping you up and all that shit.
Invoking emotion. When they start invoking emotion, the internet invokes an
Because
emotion.
they gonna add you to somebody else live that's talking shit about you, and it just make you mad.
Yeah, because literally somebody's either jumping on there, instigating in it. You got 1,000 people instigating right there in the moment. Pushing you up, you know what I mean, encouraging you because they want the transparency on the internet. I think like a lot of the rap that was in the 90s before that, when Dirty said that respect was there, that would be like watered down rap now.
Right.
Compared to now, they'd be like, "Oh, that ain't real. He's not real because he ain't naming stuff." Like it's like this weird thing. Like we want you to tell everything, but it's like what's snitching and what's being transparent in your music, like truthful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because now it's like you tell everything to go to prison. Like,
and then again, like back then, like nigga, you was outside. Like we know your mama stay, we know everybody's state. Like you ain't just finna disrespect this man like that and get away with that. Like now everybody's all over the place. You on the internet. Like I don't know you like that. A lot of these kids don't even know each other like that. Like you don't hear about football season like that no more. Like you know it's there, but like it's not hella kids walking down the street with football pads and shit. Kids don't really know each other. They just disrespecting people that they don't even know.
And they might even be related, huh?
It might be related.
That's crazy. Like I just found out, like a girl that I went to school with in junior high. Come to find out, we was related the whole time. We never connected like that. But I knew her last name was the same as my grandma's, but I didn't know her. And my grandma did it. Come to find out, she was family the whole time. The heights is intertwined.
Right.
And the manner too. So I'd be like, damn. After you get older, and you like, if I went to my dad and asked my dad who I'm related to, man, he say so many names that everything is weaved in because that's how the heights is.
For real. Cause I ain't gonna lie, like I was like getting into that shit because that's what it was. Like this before I went to prison and really had to exercise my mind and shit. Cause I was falling along with the same shit, disrespecting people a neighborhood right next door to me, and then my dad going over to smoke with his OG. So they know each other since kids, and he coming to me like, nigga, I see this dude the same way he disrespecting us. I smoke with his partner. Like we've been friends since the 90s and shit like that. And it didn't hit me till I got to the pen and I really started thinking about all that shit. Like, that ain't what's up.
Man, how long did you do?
Something could have happened to my pop. Like something could happen to people close to me over my actions. Because just trying to for no reason, really, just for nothing.
Yeah, and that's what they don't think about, because when they can't get you, they're gonna get somebody close to you that you know, and that's where these setups come from. It's like, man, we know how this person moves. Like, we can't get you. Like you said, they not outside like that. Like, the internet is like a very weak social connection, because you connect with thousands of people, but you're not really connected with people. You don't have relationships with those people the same way as if you went outside and hung with these people.
Right. That's what it really is. Like, they don't know the potential dangers until it's an actual danger. And you don't know how this person will react. You didn't know that, man.
Yeah. That's why in prison, that's why it's always respect first. That gets
I'm not
gonna
lie, like, the prison is literally like how the streets used to be. Like, when I was telling my cousin that just the other day, I'm like, the shit that's going on, like, that's not going on in the prison. And it's fucked up because it tricked young blacks like ourselves off the street. And then they get there and be like, damn, I really got to ride with my enemy. I really got to be in a cell with him. He might save my life. He might. And it'd be too late sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to give you an example of that. Like Fresno Bulldogs, the Mexicans out there, man, they used to be smacking each other. And then when they came to, I'm talking about like they was enemies with each other more than any other people because they so deep in Fresno. But when they get to the pen, they be programming because it's them against everybody.
And they see how outnumbered you are. Now it's just me. Like when I went to the pen, it's just me. Once, like me versus the 3,000 niggas. Even if it was niggas from Sac, like we don't know each other. At the end of the day, I gotta get myself home. Us together as a group to care for each other. But I don't know nobody. Like damn, once I start, like it's my respect just for life and just my own people just took a turn at that point. Like it's serious.
Yeah, like just think, if you got a homie next door from Sacramento, he from your enemy hood, and then you got two other white boys and some Mexicans that though don't like you because you black. What you gonna do? You gonna starve, or you gonna get at the homie because you know it's about black. It's about black in there because unfortunately that's how California prison system is. You gonna starve, or you gonna tell the homie to slide you a suit?
Right. You gotta eat.
But let me ask you this with that, like, do you think that a lot of the rappers that are bigger, that control, that I ain't gonna say control it, but the ones at the forefront of it, do you think they really haven't been to prison and experienced that, the stuff y'all are talking about where you got to be in those situations? Like, because I don't know like the different types of prisons. So when I say that, I'm saying it like I'm trying to say it in the most respectful way, like, because like when you talk about some of the prisons you've been and having to like be under those rules.
I'll say this. Mozzie went to San Quentin. San Quentin is the reception, and then they got a main line. But overall, it's not a hard prison. That's a level 2.
I mean, but the way it like he kind of embellished it in the interview, it was like, you know what I mean?
I think he more embellished like the lesson, like because even he said when he rapped, like the things that went through his mind as he sat down during that time. I think that's really more what he was saying. He can't never say like he was on the line carrying knives or nothing like that because he wasn't. And I haven't heard him say that. But he's associated with those like that though. Now the other one, he went to a level 3.
And been there multiple times.
Yeah. So I can't. Yeah. So you already know.
Yeah, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but I just want to because when he said those things about being in prison and how that changes your mindset, it's like when they come out, what makes you not want to separate business from like what's going on in the street? Because that's like going into a company. I'm saying I'm gonna give you millions of dollars, and you can't exist with this person that's making millions of dollars over here. Not that you're gonna make $2 million by not being with this person. We just not gonna do business with either one of y'all. Like at this point, you know what I mean? Because it'll blackball the city. If them are the two hottest rappers in the city, it'll blackball the city until another generation comes that doesn't respect that and acknowledge that and sees like, okay, we can navigate around that.
I'm gonna give you a Sacramento statistic right now, and then you could do the math. Earlier I said gangbanging in Sacramento stayed untouched, like untampered with, in its original form that it came from Pomona, which was influenced by LA until 1994 to 96. So how long did gangbanging untouched stay in Sacramento? Not that long.
Yeah.
But Zilla started in the late 90s. Person was Rizilla. Then that started in the late 90s. And the remnants of Rizilla are still prevalent to this day. They're the originator, they're the older ones. So therefore that was in the late 90s. We're in 2020. So how much longer has Clicks been in Sacramento than gangbanging was? That's why I say if you like me and you just a straight up blood, nothing else, just uncut, straight Del Paso Ice blood. We're dinosaurs. Like we don't That saying blood is just like saying nigga. Like being a blood is just like saying what up, OG. Damn near. If you just a straight blood, because that era came and left. People started dying for reasons other than just a color long ago.
Yeah.
Hittahrich, do you care to add to that?
I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying.
Hey, let me.
That's go. Hey, PSG, you've been pretty quiet, man. I know you got a million questions,
Yeah,
man.
let me ask you this. Okay, you know how I heard you like you be in interviews with Nate Dogg, and you would talk about how the LA blood, the down south bloods, didn't really respect the up north bloods. Did that carry over into the music? Like when y'all got y'all rap scene, was the Bay Area messing with y'all? Did the LA mess with y'all music, or was that same type of divide at first?
Sibo had ties to the Bay Area off top. Back with AWOL Records, AWOL Records was really started by some cats from the Bay Area.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily Bay Area, but Jay Jonah and them, they had a strong influence in that. And then the light-skinned guy with a big belly, who I'm not gonna give him the dignity and say his name.
Okay.
But so Sacramento really, I'll tell you this: when Sibo had ties to the Bay, that was cool. He had ties to like Richmond, and then like Dual Committee was signed to AWOL, and Dual Committee was Keep the Sneaking Agent Man, and you already know what they went on to be 3 times crazy. So
Right.
Sacramento had ties. Brother Lynch, not so much. Brother Lynch stayed like homegrown and around. Sibo stayed homegrown and around, but he branched out too. And then I'll say this: when I came home in 2013, in 2014, I was so happy to hear that Mozzie was on a song with Jay Stalin, because I had been hearing Jay Stalin for hella years, but hadn't been hearing no collaborations between Sacramento and anybody else. So when I seen that collaboration, I got juiced. And that was in 2014. So really a lot of that collaboration stuff really just started.
Okay. And who would you say has the bigger influence over the Sacramento sound, LA or the Bay Area?
Definitely not the Bay. It used to be the Bay. It used to in the 2000s, the Mac Dre era and all that, the Yellow Bus era and all that. But that time came and went. Sacramento then took on its own sound, which is like, it's got like pieces from everywhere, but right now Sac got its own sound.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's gonna last though, but it's got its own sound right now. People paying attention.
Okay.
Hittahrich, what do you think? What do you think about the music scene right now?
Yeah, that's what we got our own sound, like you said. And it's just, I could say it's like, yeah, we got our own sound, and it's like just back on that like time, like history repeating itself type shit. Because it's back on its own sound, and it's back to like murder music.
Yeah.
Shoot 'em up, all that shit. It ain't no really dancing shit at all, really.
Nothing.
The popular music in Sacramento ain't really about dancing. It's back to the talking shit.
Can you name 3 R&B artists from Sacramento?
Nope.
Hey, I can, but I gotta look real. I gotta think real hard.
I probably can too, but not nobody that somebody's like turn her on or turn him on.
Yeah, we ain't got no Trey songs from Sacramento.
Oh.
But we got a bunch of people that'll let you know what they'll do to you and how many times they hit you. Yeah, hey. So check me out, man. So what high school did you go to growing up? What was it like?
I went to my first high school for it was Hiram Johnson. Cause I used to live in Oak Park too.
Yeah.
I used to live on 14.
Oh, you
And
stay right there, right there.
yeah, and that's right down the street. Cause my grandma had them like my grandma had a house, parked since like our house was probably like from the pictures back then. That probably it looked like it was the only house on the block. Like they
Damn.
back, and my family came from the Bay Area.
Yep.
On both sides of my family. But I went to that school. That's how I played Pop Warner with a lot of dudes from Oak Park, and then I moved. Then I was just back and forth from the north to the P and shit. And I went to Grant. Then I went to continuation. I did most of this shit in juvenile hall and all that shit.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go and end this live, man. I appreciate you coming on. Let me answer a couple quick questions. Let's see. That shit crazy. 456 Pyru started Mozzie set. Crazy. Yeah, that's facts. That's not no bullshit. That's facts. 456 Pyru was started by some individuals, Nigel Collin being one of them, that came from Pomona and started that on 4th Avenue. That's facts.
Yeah.
Sac was influenced by the Bay in the 90s. That's where we got our hustle from. To keep it 100, that's why we're a mix, because we got the gangbanging from LA, and then we got the hustling from the Bay. That's why we our own thing, because we a mix of both, because the Bay Area wasn't gangbanging and LA wasn't really, they was hustling, but it was different. So we had our own thing. That's what's unique about Sac names.
Let me say this. I think that, from my perspective, what I see going on overall in rap is a mixture of all the cultures. Like, you know what I mean? Because you see where the Chicago of this dead people was influenced over. You see the California where gangbanging is established from California to those taking that to other places, to the, not how the generation was broke. So there is no like steady current, but to the point now in these other places, like that's what's going on, where people want to be, no, everybody can be touched now, because that structure isn't there. There is no kind of structure. It's just a melting pot of certain traditions. Like you take this from this tribe, and we like this, and it's just like a mixing pot.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to charge up. So that.
I mean, because it's really hard to place what's going on in other places. It looks similar to what's going on, like he was saying with Dallas and what's going on in the Bay. It looks similar, like, you know what I mean? They're doing similar things, but like you can't really put an idea of what's really going on unless you're there.
That's really true. That's really true. Because like we didn't have like a lot of places like had rappers throughout times back to back to back. Like we missed a whole gap of a whole rap era.
Yeah.
So we was going with what was going on right then and there, and it just took off.
Yeah.
And then we started trying to get back into like our own, trying to find our own shit and get back into our own style of music.
Yeah.
So
you've seen it like with the artists, like, because I know like Lab and them have been around like Mozzie, but they've had stuff before. And it was like you said, of trying to find new sound. It's like now it's like the perfect balance to where that stuff mixes in, and it creates them to carve their own lane now, like of doing that. Right. Like you said, that murder sound, it's like finding a way, the production, or like, how it meshes and what picks up out, to be heard. Like, because both of them, they're going to be heard like through relationships or whatever. They're going to be somewhat, tied to each other.
Hold on. I just thought about something. I missed the influence. Sada Baby has influenced some of the sax scene too. If you look at Sada, you remember hey Rich, you remember Block Party?
Yeah.
That song Block Party, Sada Baby, that had a lot of more people dancing, and that had a lot of more people changing their flows too.
It did. But I think just like the Detroit, and because it's a Bay and Detroit shit going on heavy, and it's spilling into Sac. Because some rappers from Sac kind of start, they got a distinctive sound, and you can tell like, oh yeah, we know where you get the beats from. Well, like who you trying to sound like. And,
I know Maserati Rick got a song with Sada Baby.
Right. Cause they
So let
be
me
in the
ask,
Bay a lot. They be in the Bay a lot too, and it's a lot of Sacramento niggas like having money. So niggas be in the Bay with them niggas too, and bringing them to Sac. Cash Kid been in Sac and hung around Sac niggas, and he a big rapper from Detroit too, with that sound. And so yeah,
The world, hey, I know the rap scene is more connected. Like when I started traveling and going across the country, I started seeing that it's Sac niggas everywhere. Like we everywhere. Like I was in Sacramento. I mean, I was in Atlanta, and I only messed with Sac niggas in Atlanta, a whole across the country.
yeah.
So
okay,
we everywhere.
so let me ask you this. Like who started in the 90s? What's one rapper like in the 90s and in the 2000s that you would say epitomizes the Sacramento sound? Like if I really want to know what your Sacramento sound, rap sound is like what rapper would you point to me like currently and then like back in the day?
Back in the days, it's easy. That's SIBO.
Okay.
Because I know that when I went across the country and I was telling people where I was from, that's why I made a mission. I want everybody to know I'm from Sacramento, but I couldn't explain to them. And the only person that they knew from Sacramento was SIBO. That's it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and Brother Lynch, of course. And then some kind of knew X-rated, but not really. But it was SIBO because oh yeah, and SIBO we had a Kansas City connection too.
Hmm.
Kansas City
Well, who?
ties with Sacramento, and that tie is prevalent to this day from when SIBO used to go out there to with Mac Dre.
Yeah, because we kind of talk the same.
Yep.
They kind of say the same shit that we.
Saying
Yeah,
who epitomizes the sound today?
I think Sacramento got two different sounds right now.
Two?
Two,
Really?
one side and the other side. That's it. One
Yeah.
side and the other side, and they all sound the same.
Hmm. Okay.
I can't say there's one that actually stands out that sounds different. Rich might know better than me, but they all sound the same to me.
Okay.
What you think, Rich?
You could like as far as like it could be the same. Maybe like slang, but like I think one side used like more Detroit kind of like faster kind of pace sound, and
Uh-huh.
it's kind of the same. Like one like every city that rap, everybody kind of sound the same. Because if I listen to Detroit, I think they all sound the same. I listen to Chicago, I think they all sound the same.
Yeah,
Me
but I
too.
heard on one side, from outside looking in, there is the one side is very up tempo and it's very like catchy, like so like you know like it's almost it can be almost dancing, but if you paying attention to what they saying, you know what I mean? Like it's that like it make you bounce around and put that energy. The other side is like kind of like I say more soulful, like you know what I mean?
Right, a little.
Like in a way to give it the respect, it's like more soulful, like you know what I mean. There you feel that pain, but then the other one is like kind of like the embellishment of it, like you know,
It's
like
like I will say this: one side ain't gonna have you dancing at no house party, and the other side got a whole lot of songs that you can get your gig on too.
yeah,
One side gonna have you ready to go knock something down. The other side gonna have you knock something down and celebrate after.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you like yeah, it's like celebration music.
So, but the thing is no matter how fun it looks, it's still still a fine underlying message up in that music that the ones in the know, they definitely ain't the ones that's dancing.
Hmm.
They the ones that's sitting behind the phone trying to look in the background and see who's in the background of the videos. But yeah.
So so let me ask you
So
this though. How does it work with other rappers like from other places coming out? How are they welcome to move about the city with the stuff going on? Are they, you know, when they come out there, is that line kind of how does that affect business with other places? Like, you know, you
uh
say
You answer that, Rich, if you can.
Yeah, see, that's why, like, once you check out my video, that's why I said, like, it fuck off our money because Sacramento is just like, you fuck with them, we ain't fucking with you. Like, it's really like that. Like you chose, we feel like you chose sides. Like, nah, nigga, we don't trust you. We don't fuck with you. You fucking with them.
Yeah.
It's just one side or the other.
So let me ask you this: when you see people like Boosie doing that, because Boosie is an artist that does that because it was like he was a generation above, and he felt like because he's like, I'm the influence of everything that you're doing. He's like, I can do that. So do you know with people like that?
I think people just pick and choose. Like him, he's a legend. So like you ain't gonna even. That's not a person that you gonna even like. You just want to just to be in that position to be able to make music with you.
Yeah,
like it just depends on like the artist and who they are and how big they are and like their status in the game. Then it's different. But it's better for the local artists. Like they're like, bro, I don't got nothing to do with this. I want to make music with him and him.
yeah.
It don't work like that. Because if you make music with him, you might not can't make music with him.
Yeah.
So as an up and coming artist, you really have to sounds like you got to get your foot in, unless you already kind of involved on the side. If you're just an artist that has no ties, you have to go as far as you can go on your own, because once you make a decision either way, you
damn near. That's why I make it harder for artists to come out.
So do you feel like it's an artist that's ever going to be able to escape the politics and get out of the city? And
I think eventually. Cause shit that's going on and we remember the past, what happened like to get to this point of where it got us now with the music. So I think eventually like people gonna be like, man, like enough people died, enough people in jail, like man, let's just get this money, man.
Yeah.
Like that's just what I think.
Yeah, it's just hard with the way rap's going, but that's the way rap as a whole is going, though. So it kind of plays right into the culture of these cities. If that's going on in your city, then it's like, man, you're making real music of what's really going on. So
now that you said it like that, it could be really hard. But that's why Atlanta's winning, because they the only ones that's down there not doing shit like that.
Yeah, they like mix it in. Like because you look at like 21 Savage. He dropped that whole album talking all that stuff on that album. And then he goes and interviews and like, man, this is the stupidest stuff ever. You know what I mean? Like backing away from it. Like, and that's kind of the stance that you see with Atlanta artists. They talk about it, but they move back from it. Like, hold on, it's music as opposed to Chicago and these other cities. That's who we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, now that you put it like that, it's really kind of hard to judge on that because it's like it's a trend to do shit like what's going on with like this type of shit. Artists going.
I'm gonna say this: the only race that I seen able to make a whole 360 that went from killing each other at an alarming rate to peace. That's the Asians. And you know why? Because the Asians figured out it was about money. And they started networking amongst each other. And next thing you know, they went from one of the highest murder rates in SAC to damn near non-existent. Asian gang murders, damn near non-existent.
Seriously. Okay. Like when did that start happening? Like in the 2000s?
2000s, mid 2000s, but the early 2000s, Asians and SAC was at each other. I'm talking about broad daylight. They was gunning at each other.
Wow.
The Samoans did it too. Like the Samoans and the Tongans, certain places they at each other, but Sacramento, nah, they used to be at each other, but they figured it out quick. Blacks never quite figured that out.
Wow.
Hey, whack dudes, hit that link. Hold on 1 second. Bam. Yep. So in closing, man, you got a channel, right, Ivan?
Yeah, but I don't want to promote that because this ain't the platform for that. This ain't the forum for that.
Yeah, true that. But but promotion is promotion. So we had some pretty good numbers on this live,
Yes.
and don't forget Hittahrich is on fire right now.
Yeah. So yeah.
So so if you want to, if I was you, I would post your channel and PNG News. You got fans all throughout now because your networking skills is extraordinary. So you got fans
Thank you.
on here too. So plug your channel too, because you established as well. And
Okay.
I wish all four of us future success. I enjoyed the conversation. There's
Yeah.
people that's gonna look forward to it. I look forward to more discussions with Hittahrich. Check out his channel, Sacramento Street. What is it? Sacramento Street Wars
Yep.
on YouTube. PNG News on YouTube. Ivan the Great is Ivan the Great. Straight up.
Straight up.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all. Look forward to the
Yeah,
next
thanks for
video.
inviting us.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Appreciate
y'all.
it.
Good. Nice meeting y'all.
Nice meeting
Man,
you.
I
Same here,
appreciate
bro.
y'all.
More
All right,
power
man.
to y'all.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.